Okay, so let me see if I can understand this right, and you can correct me on this one, guys, because this is actually a bit more complicated. So, if I'm understanding this right, Koizumi is the one who has been doing this whole slush funding kind of thing, where he has been slowly taking money, like from the public funds and all that, little by little, like the percentage, like 10% or something like that, and taking it for himself. And he has been giving that money to Takano without that extra money being funneled through the attorney, because otherwise the attorney would have been like, what the fuck, where is this money coming from? Where is this money coming from? He had kept it secret. Would this mean that Koizumi is the one who has been doing like this public fund, like illegal stuff? In that case, would it mean that this is further proof that there is definitely like a connection between Koizumi and Nomura? Because otherwise, who else would be able to further help Takano in that manner? I'm very close to Takano-san, but I had no idea she was so rich. Actually, she's rather tight with her money. She never acted as if she had a billion yen just sitting around. Yeah, that's because that billion yen is definitely only for her plan. But then, that money isn't just money to her. It's a form of support from her dear grandfather's friend. So she'd have to save it for when she needed it the most. If the new board of directors had even a little interest in her research, she would have used the money on them, but they simply laughed at her. So Takano-san gave up on bribing them. Instead, she decided to use it now, because her research project was going to be terminated anyway. With a billion yen, it might be possible to bribe the Mountain Dogs. If she has sponsors, it'll be even easier. Her grandfather couldn't complete his life's work, but she's planning on a magnificent conclusion for it. Shit. Those can't be her true intentions. Someone has to be deceiving her. Takano-san, I'm sorry. Sorry I didn't notice your sorrow, even though I've been right beside you. Damn. Okay, well, here's some food for thought for Tomitake. Whether I understood this right or not, and this is proof for Tomitake to think of Takano, to be suspicious of her. Alright. The preparation for tomorrow's festival is moving right along at the Furuta Shrine. Vans and pickup trucks are bringing in tents and equipment, and the village youth group and some middle-aged men are unloading them.
リカちゃま、だいぶ具合が悪いらしいね。大丈夫かいの？今日も学校休んだっちゅう聞いたんね。長引かっといいね。ああ、入江先生。リカちゃまの具合はどうですんね。
はい。ちょっとたちの悪い風邪だったようですが、峠は越していると思います。ただ、風邪は治り際が肝心です。本人たちにも、今日は治ったとはしゃがず、布団の中でおとなしくしているように注意してきたところです。
ああ、そうかそうか。さとこちゃんも一緒に風邪をひいてるんか。二人で仲良く風邪だもんで、ついつい遊んじゃうんだろうの。風まで一緒とは、リカちゃまとさとこちゃんは本当に仲良しだね。ああ、ちょうどいいところに。入江の先生がね、リカちゃまたち峠は越したって言うてんね。
へえ、そうかいそうかい。それはよかった。
Oh, wait. Isn't this kind of detrimental to the 48-hour plan? Because if Iri is going around telling people, like, that Iri is checking on Rika and the Satoko for the sickness and all that, that will be kind of no good because, like, at some point, Oishi's gonna have to make the announcement that Rika has been dead for 48 hours. But then you have Irie right over here who says that he's checking on Rika like all the time, therefore making it seem like she has been alive. Because let's assume that Irie is gonna go along with this plan. But that would imply that to Takano and the Mountain Dogs, he has been lying about Rika's condition. And if Oishi is gonna say that Rika has been dead for 48 hours, Takano is either gonna think that Oishi is the one who lied, or Iri is gonna be the one who says the lie right over here. In which case, things are gonna get suspicious and may end up complicating the plan.
それで明日の炎演舞なんだけど、さすがに無理がねえ。
本人はやると言って聞かないんです。皆さんがやってくれと頼めば、多分喜んでやってしまうでしょう。ただ医者の立場としては、たとえ今日熱が下がっていても、明日は大役をお休みさせてあげたいところです。
困ったね。ああ、お涼さん、リカちゃまの具合ね、よくはなってきたけど、まだまだ安静なんだってよ。
そんな仕方ねえな。無理にやらせて祭りの日に倒れられた日にゃ、またお社様のたたりだなんて言われちまうんよ。
いや、村のみんなも心配してるよ。また5年目のたたりもあるんじゃないかって言ってね。
I guess it's kind of it is kind of a little bit saddening that we're actually gonna have to do all this confrontation like after Watanagashi, so we can't really enjoy Watanagashi like the way we usually do. Like a part of me kind of wanted for all this conflict to have happened like before Watanagashi, so that afterwards we would have like a decent ending at the Watanagashi.
で、北条家の里子ちゃんとリカちゃんもだろ。物騒な想像してる連中もいるらしいんだよ。
アホらしい。リカちゃまはお社様の生まれ変わりよ。そのリカちゃまがたたりに会うときは、村が滅ぶときよ。縁起でもねえこと言うんでね。
いやはや、まったくだよな。
入江先生、二人を見舞うことはできんかいね。
しばらく遠慮してあげてください。治りかけで遊びたい盛りなんです。外部との接触があると興奮して、また床を抜け出そうとしてしまいますから。
そうかそうか。それなら無理でけんな。入江先生、あの二人を頼むな。リカちゃまだけじゃねえ。さとこちゃんも頼むな。
Really? That's surprising. Oryo-san always acts as if she doesn't even see Satoko-chan. But she just asked me to take care of Satoko-chan too.
もちろん。リカさんも、もちろんさとこちゃんも、絶対に元気にしてみせますよ。
Yeah, I mean, let's just get rid of that conflict like straight away. Let's not go through that again. Let's leave Satoko alone in this.
お任せください。
もし間違いがあったら、またお社様のたたりなんて言われちまう。内里先生、昭和も50年にもなって、人類が月にまで行っちまうような時代にもなって、まだたたりなんて、アホ臭いとは思うんかいね。
思いますね。
ダム戦争の頃は、確かにうちらは、 それを煽ったし利用もした。でもな、ダム戦争はとっくに終わっとるん。いつまでもたたられてばっかりではいつまでたってもダム戦争が終わらんのよ。
聡子ちゃんが死ぬとダム戦争のたたりだと言われるからですか？
ダム戦争はもう終わったんよ。村の子が風邪ひいたら心配するのが年寄りの仕事だっちゅうだけやんね。
I already know what Oreo-san wants to say. I want her to actually say it. But if I made her, she might get angry. This is more than enough. When she talks about the Dan conflict, she doesn't just mean the war they waged against the construction itself. She also including how the Hojo family was ostracized after it was over. She's saying that the Dan conflict is over, including everything that happened as a result of it. And that's why she told me to take care of Satoko-chan. Yeah, let's put a nail in the coffin when it comes to that kind of stuff, please.
聡子ちゃんもお見舞いの気持ちを汲み取ってくれると思いますよ。
あんないたずらぼんずに年寄りの心なんざわらわら。
Oreo-san left, laughing. I wasn't the only one watching her leave. Kimiyoshi-san and some other elders did the same. They all understand what Oreo-san wanted to say. The Dan conflict is over now.
あの元気な聡子ちゃんにも熱を出させるんだから、たちの悪い風だね。入江先生、二人をよろしく頼みます。
I mean, you know what, folks? This is kind of what I was talking about before, and my bad if I'm bringing up the the topic again about audio, and apologies and right over here now, like apologies and all that, but this is what I meant. I mean, yeah, of course, we have Keiichi to bring in the new wind that would bring freedom to Satoko and all that, but you know what? This is the kind of stuff that Oreo could do. She doesn't necessarily have to say that. She apologizes for all that stuff, but you know, with words like that, like through time and all that, people are gonna see that clearly Oreo is no longer thinking of the Hojos as an enemy and all that, and thus, with time, people are gonna warm up more and more, and well, people, like, a lot of the villagers have already seen this whole Hojos as the enemies as kind of useless right now since it's only Satoko and she's just a child and all that. But as long as people, the villagers see Oreo warm up to Satoko without necessarily needing like an apology, if the villagers see Oreo warming up to Satoko in similar fashion to what she's shown right here, that will do wonders for Satoko's future. That's for sure.
面会謝絶だからしゃあないけど、二人に年寄りがみんな心配してるから、はよ元気になると伝えてください。
ええ、二人ともきっと喜ぶと思います。
I vow to myself, Takano-san is more than likely planning something for tomorrow, taking advantage of people's belief in the curse. I can't let that happen. The curse of Yashiro-sama will end before it can happen for a fifth time. I'm sure of that. Alright? Oishi couldn't accomplish the 48-hour operation alone. He would need help from someone else. Oishi called up both Kumagai and the old man from forensics and told him everything. I mean, the thing is though, it is bad timing because it is during Watanagashi. People are gonna think that, oh god, Rika has been dead because of the curse of Oyashiro-sama that happened exactly in the Watanagashi. It is the 5th year in a row. That's kind of bad timing, to be honest.
重ねて申し上げますが、こいつはやばい橋になります。融資ならいいですがね、懲戒だったら退職金も吹っ飛びます。
なんだ大石、お前やばい作戦の前にはいつも隣の雀荘に部下を集めてそう脅してるそうじゃないか。いつもと変わらんのう。
そうっすよお石さん。いつものようにもっと元気に退職金が欲しいやつは10数える間に出てってくださいってやってくださいよ。そうじゃないと調子狂うっす。
いや、本当にやばい話なんですよ、クマちゃん。その覚悟は本当にあるんですか？
試しに10数えてみればいいじゃないですか。なら今日は俺が数えるっす。退職金が欲しいやつは10数える間に退出してください。1、2、3。
わかりました。クマちゃんの覚悟はよーくわかりました。いやしかし本当にいいんですね。
俺あの日赤坂さんの武勇伝を聞いてるうちに熱くなってきたんす。やはり刑事になったからには巨悪と戦いたい。それに俺もやがては赤坂さんみたいに武勇伝を誇れる男になりたいんですよ。
Damn. Okay, well, they are surely gonna accept it because they're young and they want some action.
やばい橋、上等じゃないっすか。
I don't know about the forensic investigator. Like, how old is he?
それに大石さんの提案する作戦で俺たち一度も失敗したことないです。
He seems old, judging by his voice, after smoking like 3 packets of cigarettes like every day. おいしさん。
だから俺、その大石さんがいけると思って誘った作戦ならビビりませんよ。
若いというのはいいの。こいつな、あの日以来赤坂君にだいぶ感化されよっての。
Yeah, I guess this tells us that the forensic investigator is actually old. If he is commenting about how Kumagai is young.
秘密捜査や秘密事件に関わりたいと息巻いとったんじゃ。
いや若いっていいな。それでじいさまはどうします？
わしも乗るぞい。というかそこまで言われたら会社の検視がそいつらをしょっぴけるかどうかを左右することにもなるからの。
True. They need to fake Rika's death, which would mean that we need like an forensic investigator that is believable to tell the actual information.
今日まで散々不養生を重ねてきた。
Yeah, I can tell.
そうそう。この老いぼれが長生きすることもないだろう。なら男に生まれたからには最後くらいでかい花を咲かせたいもんじゃい。
やれやれ。じいさまもクマちゃんもとにかく怖いもの知らずだな。だからドラが3つめくれてても強気でリーチ入っちゃうんだよな。
何言ってんすか大石さん。男なら降りられない時がある。どうせ切るならど真ん中ってのは大石さんの口癖っすよ。
違いない。
わかりました。お二人の首私が預からせてもらいます。
そうと決まればわしの方も少々準備がいる。今のメンツと機材じゃ薬物系まで調べるのは難しいからな。急いで知り合いの鑑識の中から手の空いた連中を呼びつけるか。大石、全部終わった後はちょいとでかくおごってもらうぞい。
そこは任せてください。 ですが、打ち明ける相手にはくれぐれも注意してくださいよ。署内にスパイ混じってるそうですから。
わかっとる。わしも伊達に人は見とらん。任せとけ。
よーし、燃えてきたっす。刑事魂本開っすよ。
It had taken Oishi all night to come to a decision. But those two had decided immediately. He couldn't help but question himself.
では、私はこのままちょいと用事があるんで出かけます。
Yeah, I mean, imagine if the forensic investigator is actually a spy. That's why he has accepted it easily. Okay, I'm actually done with that voice. That I actually miss like voicing characters and all that. I don't know. Unfortunately, that is something that I cannot do as easily these days. But maybe in the future, but nonetheless, it's it's quite something.
クマちゃんはじいさまを送ってあげてください。
Yeah, I guess so. I guess Kumagai and the forensic investigator are gonna go their own paths for right now. The forensic investigator is gonna do his own thing, and he's gonna grab like a fourth packet of cigarettes.
今日は非番なのにすいませんでしたね。
なに、構わん。久々に男の血がうずいてきよった。これほど腕の鳴る大舞台、わしの人生でもこの年になって初めてじゃわい。ビビるどころか、ここは楽しませてもらうぞい。
ありがとうございます、じいさま、クマちゃん。
We should thank them after seeing them off, although they couldn't hear. You know, it is kind of weird nonetheless. Like, after all that deal with the Oishi, and pension being like really, really important for him for his future, but then you have like a forensic investigator right over here who doesn't really care that much. He wants some of that action before he dies. Oishi stopped by a flower shop. He bought a bouquet of balloon flowers. Usually, the purple ones are the most popular. And Oishi was fond of that color too. But today, he didn't buy purple flowers, but got unusual white balloon flowers instead. With the bouquet in hand, he headed to the cemetery across from the flower shop. Oh, he is probably visiting his old friend. The date was June 18th. The real anniversary would be tomorrow. But as Oishi had to work on Watanagashi every year, he usually commemorated it on the previous day instead. I mean, is that always the case? I mean, technicalities and all that, but I don't think that Watanagashi is on a fixed date. It will be like the 3rd of each Saturday, I think it was, of that month. So it's not always the same. It was the day before the anniversary of the death of the old man. The one Oishi considered a best friend, a brother, and a father.
毎年毎年、私は今年こそはおやっさんの右腕を見つけ出すと誓ってますが、さっぱり見つかってません。
Oishi spoke to the grave. He laid the bouquet of white balloon flowers down on top of it.
ですが、ようやくおやっさんの死の真相に近づく機会を得ました。ただね、それが笑っちゃうんですよ。園崎家は関係ないって言うんです。私は毎年ここにお寮のばあさんを連れてきて土下座させてやるって誓ってきたのに私はすっかり参ってしまいましてね。またおやっさんにげんこつをもらっちまいます。勝手に当たり牌を誤解してベタ折りしまくった挙句にドカンと痛い目に遭う。決めつけないできっちり手を進めてりゃ、でっかい手がちゃんとできてたかもしれないのにです。私は全然進歩してません。麻雀も相変わらずですよ。こんな一度思い込んだら疑うことも知らない頭の固いやつは多分バカって言われるんだろうなと思います。
Oishi already had a vague idea. The way Irie had phrased it, he could already guess. There was no dark secret behind the old man's dismemberment murder. The events that followed were separate incidents. That particular murder was an individual incident and it had nothing to do with anything else. Since the main culprit was the only one who wasn't caught, Oishi needed someone to blame. And the mysterious Wazaki family was the perfect target. The drama of revenge that Oishi believed in never existed.
私は今、ヤバい橋を渡ろうとしてます。リスクの割に大した見返りはありません。せいぜい私というバカの思い込みを解いてくれるだろう真実ってやつを教えてもらえるだけです。ですが、なんだかやっと私は自分ってやつを許してやれそうな気がします。
Oishi bowed deeply to the grave. And then he heard footsteps behind him. It had to be someone else who knew the old man. That person can't come on the day Watanagashi every year either. So they come on the day before, just like Oishi does. They always bring blue hydrangeas. Purple balloon flowers and those blue flowers don't go well together. That's the reason why Oishi always picks white ones. Usually the hydrangeas are already there by the time he arrives. But as Oishi had his secret meeting with Kumagai early in the morning, he came straight to the graveyard afterward and arrived before this person did. Who? Visiting a grave isn't a race. It's a spiritual matter. Oishi was curious about the other person who brings flowers every year, so he looked up. Also, he didn't even know. And now he is finally going to be able to find out who it is.
これは。
Oh.
皆さんもどなたかのお墓参りですかな?
Oishi stated the obvious, but from one glance, he could guess everything. Upon seeing the hydrangeas in her arms, it all made sense.
おやおや。あんた、勤務中じゃないのかい？悪いお人だね、まったく。
Akane Sonozaki left, and she handed a bouquet of hydrangeas to her daughter, Shion. Shion, not knowing what to do, was caught between her mother and Oishi.
ほら、いつまでもお墓の前で突っ立ってんじゃないよ。そこをどき。
Oishi moved over as told and spoke.
まさか、あんたが毎年おやっさんにアジサイを？
綺麗だろ？うちの庭のやつなのさ。やっぱり6月はアジサイさね。あんたの気境も珍しいね。白いのもあるのかい？それも涼しそうで良さげだよ。
ああ、大石のおじさま、ちょっとすみません。お花いけますんで、お邪魔します。
Shion knelt down in front of the grave and got the flowers ready. She put the hydrangeas in the vase alongside the balloon flowers. The flowers looked beautiful in the vase together, reminding their onlookers that summer was about to start.
空前にしちゃいい取り合わせじゃないかい。白に青によく引き立て合ってるよ。
毎年私が来るとアジサイがありましたからね。青い花じゃ相性が悪いと思いまして。
なんだ、なら私たち相性はバッチリじゃないかい。
そうですね。
どうしたんです、おじさま？レントゲンに妙なもんでも映ってたんですか？なんか今日は嫌に神妙で気持ち悪いですね。
あと、うちの組の店にツケが残ってるだろう？そいつの請求書を備えに来てやるよ。
やれやれ、親子揃って口の減らない一家です。あいにくまだ当分お迎えは来ないみたいです。定年までもうラストスパートですが、まだまだ行きますよ。
なら結構。沖宮の一市民としては公僕の頼もしい一言で安心だね。
Their conversation should have been coded in social courtesies, yet something felt a little off about it.
しかし、一つ教えちゃくれませんかね。死守同盟と現場監督のおやすさんは犬猿の中だったはずでしょう。その二人がどうして花を備えてくれるんです？
そりゃ犬猿さね。私たちは敵同士。
そうです。こんにゃろうはとにかくムカつくじじいでしたからね。噛みついてやったし、溝落ちに肘をくれてやったし、あと車のボディを10円玉で削ってやったり。
She once stuck out her tongue and hid behind her mother in embarrassment.
それだけ仲の悪かったシオンさんまでがどんな経緯でここへ墓参りに来てるんですか？
てか、ダム戦争はもう終わりましたし。まあ敵とはいえ、いろいろシャレにならないこともしましたしね。
なんだい、納得いかないのかい？終わった戦争さね。ラグビーだって終わったらノーサイド、敵味方なしなんだろ？そういうことさ。
Akane said it as though it was a normal thing, but Oishi just couldn't understand. First of all, they hated each other. They hated each other, they spat at each other. How could he even feel like bringing flowers to his gravesite? However, Akane said that it was normal. Their moral standards were matching up.
私にゃあんたの方が理解できないね。私の中ではダム戦争は終わったことになってんだけど、あんたの頭の中ではまだ続いてるってのかい？
まさか。ちゃんと終わってますよ。あの騒々しいスピーカーが未だ頭の中から鳴りやまないなんて冗談じゃないです。
ならそのザキ家が墓参りしてもおかしいことはないだろ？ほら、どきなどきな。私もお供えを持ってきたんだから。
Akane took out a small package from her bag and put it down in front of the grave. Yeah, like what is the deal with that package, like red package that Shion was carrying?
その包み、毎年見かけてましたが、中身は何なんです？
鬼ババ特製のおはぎです。酒飲みは甘いのは苦手だろうからって砂糖抜きだそうですが。
お寮のばあさんがダム監督の命日のためにおはぎを握ったとおっしゃるんですか？
毎年握って備えてるよ。あんた毎年見てるって今言ったでしょうが。
Oishi was stunned. Audio was the biggest hardliner in the Oniga Fuji Guardians. No question about that. Oishi had believed for a long time that she was the mastermind behind the old man's murder. Because of that, he just couldn't believe that she had been making ohagi every year for his anniversary.
そんな顔しなさんな。もうさ、そういうのはおしまいにしようじゃないかい。
そういうのとは何のことですかな？
そのザキ家がダムの監督の墓前に花を供えちゃいけないとか、そういうのさ。もう昭和も60年になろってんだ。下手すりゃ数年もしないうちに元号も変わるかもしれない。そんな時代にまであんたは終わっちまった戦争をずるずる引きずりたいってのかい？
ご冗談を。もうあんな戦争はごめんです。平和が一番ですよ。
国にも悪いところがあった。反省が必要だね。でも私たちにも悪いところがあった。だから私たちは反省するよ。そしてそれはそれでおしまいになったなら、あとはいつまでもグダグダ言ってても仕方ないだろう。古い時代を片付けて 新しい時代を作るのが若者の仕事さね。不幸な事件があってこの御人は死んじまったけど、もし生きてたなら私は一緒に酒を飲んで全部水に流したいと思ったさ。でも死んじまった。だからこの御人とはもう仲直りできない。悲しいことさ。
それが死別というもんですからね。
でもあんたは生きているじゃないかい。
そうですね。あんたらも生きてます。
ならあんたともいつか仲良くできる日も来るかもしれないね。
That would be the best.
さてどうでしょうね。
こいつを住職さんに。その後は表に車を回してきておくれ。
Akane took out an envelope from her pocket and gave it to Shion. Shion took the envelope, bowed the way sheep, and then ran off. I guess they're also visiting Urika's family too.
ダム戦争の時は小生意気なお嬢さんだと思ってましたが、いつの間にか成長されたもんです。
ダム戦争から何年経ってると思ってんだい？いつまでも戦争状態じゃ心も体も持たないよ。それだけの時間が経ってるんだ。
それだけの時間が経ったんですね。時間は若者ほど濃密で、年寄りほど希薄になる。
変わらないのは年寄りだけさ。でも時代と若者は絶えず成長してる。そしてぼんやりしてる間に私たちを追い抜いていっちまうのさ。で私たちは隠居して若者を見守るのさ。おつなもんだろ？
おつなもんですな。あの獅子骨の鬼姫園崎茜にいつの間にか説教をされるようになったんですから。
嫌だね、そんな通りな。まだ覚えてるのかい？今じゃ獅子骨のレディーで通ってるんだよ。そいつは内緒にしてくれるとありがたいね。
ダム戦争も終わったんですしね。
そうさ。もう終わったことなのさ。
The two of them watched Shion and the priest exchange words in front of the main temple building. Oh, okay, so it's not the same priest that I'm thinking of. It's not Rika's family. Both were silent, but the air between them was comforting. There was no breeze, and a cabbage-white butterfly flittered around them.
勤務中だろうけどさ。どうだい一つ、ひんやり練習でも行かないかい？
今日は遠慮しましょう。私も車ですし、あなたも車じゃないんですか？
そりゃ残念だね。またの機会にしようかい。
そうですな。またの機会にしましょう。
Something that had been sitting inside Oishi for a long time had started to dissipate. Something that had coagulated was melting away.
そろそろ戻ります。あなたもお嬢さんを待たせているでしょう。
そうさね。あんたとはいろいろあった気がするけどさ。これで一度パーッとチャラにしちゃいたいね。
そのあたりの生産会はまた後日に改めてやりましょう。いずれきっと。
Akane turned around with a big smile on her face, but all of a sudden, it changed into an impish grin.
それでね、大石の旦那、私たちのわだかまりがパーッとなくなったところでさ。昨日反則切符もらっちゃったんだけど、むしゃくしゃしてパーッと破り捨てちゃってさ。これもパーッとなかったことにできないかね。
ああ、そいつは最寄りの警察署へどうぞ。私に声をかけてくれりゃ順番待ちを優遇するくらいはしま
チェ、サービスの悪い人だよ。
Their laughter echoed under the blue sky. Alright, well, that was surely the best way for both sides to reconcile. Uh-oh. At the moment, I'm talking to a woman over the phone.
その後のお加減はいかがですか？
ええ、万事つつがなく、明日が祭りになりますわ。
そうですか。それは良かったです。
明日の夜、富武兄は哀れな事故に。すべて廃棄したはずの H173 が投与された痕跡を残し、どういう形であれ、哀れな最後を遂げるでしょう。
それはとても楽しそうな幕開けです。こちらではすでに議事録の捏造が終了しています。入江ニサが研究継続を求めて、他国に研究を売り渡そうとして独走し始める痕跡です。
富武殺しはそれに組み込まれる。
そうです。理事会に対し入江機関への疑問を抱かせる最初の布石になります。そのあたりの工作は全てこちらが受け持ちますので、どうかお任せください。
それからその例の件ですが、もしも
の時、
いえ、その富武兄が買収に応じた場合です。
富武2位の買収は作戦には含まれていないのではありませんでしたか？
いえ、だって彼は理事会の監査役です。もしこっちの味方になってくれれば、いろいろ利用できることも多いかと。
こちらの分析では、今回の作戦に富武2位が寝返ってくれてもリスクの割に得るものはありません。作戦に不安要素をわざわざ加味する必要はないのではありませんか？
Aww. Takano wanted to save Tomitake before this. She did try to think of a reasoning for maybe Tomitake to, I don't know, agree and ally with us, so that he can still remain alive and all that. And clearly she doesn't want Tomitake to die, that's for sure. But I guess it is a necessity. Because Nomura wants it.
おっしゃる通りですわね。失礼しました。何かに使えるかと思ったもので提案しただけです。当初の予定通りに行きます。
それがよろしいでしょう。それではまた連絡します。失礼します。
For a while, I kept holding the telephone receiver, lost in thought. Then I put it down and dialed a number that I had become very familiar with.
はい。エコノミーホテル沖宮でございます。
406号室、富武をお願いします。高野とお伝えください。
はい。今お取り次ぎしますので、少々お待ちください。
The telephone operator put me on hold, leaving behind only electronic music. I waited for about a minute and the operator came back on again.
申し訳ございません。406号室のお客様はただいま外出中でございます。お電話があった旨ご伝言いたしましょうか。
もう何度も伝言を頼んでるから結構です。富武さんはいつ外出したかわかりますか？いつ頃戻るかわかりますか？
申し訳ございません。それにつきましてはお答えできかねます。
わかりました。またかけます。
I put down the phone before the operator finished speaking. And this is the first time I've tried calling him. I left a message telling him to call me back, but he hasn't. Why? Is he out taking photographs by himself? Or is he waiting for me behind the shrine where we usually meet? Who would think I would actually come all the way here, expecting him to be waiting for me? I'm even surprised myself. People are in the middle of setting up tomorrow's festival. Tents are being put up for food stalls and preparations for various events are taking place. It's almost too noisy for me, what with people shouting as they work, plus the noise from the batteries for the stalls. Soon, I reach the back of the shrine before realizing it. This is probably the best view in the whole village. This is where Jiro-san and I usually meet. Just maybe he's waiting for me here. Of course, that's just wishful thinking. God will never grant my wishes. He only has a bit of fun by testing me. I look down at the village below, letting the breeze blow through my hair. He usually follows me around while he stays in Hinamizawa. He persistently asks if I want to go out to eat, go for a walk, or take some photographs with him. But he hasn't done any of that this visit. His behavior towards me has changed. Maybe it's because he heard about a horrible impression I left with the new board of directors. Maybe he thinks I'm a mad scientist because of that incident. I can feel that he's gradually losing interest in me. But I had my own complaints too. When I don't want him around, he's so persistent. But when I need him to listen to me, I can't get hold of him. But if I did get through to him, what would I even talk about? What could I talk to him about? Right after talking to someone about a plan to assassinate him. Why should he even answer my call? I'm simply running wildly. And when I reach the point of no return, I'll want to be forgiven. And I want him to do that for me. Just because he always does whatever I want him to do, and he shows up whenever I need him. Who would forgive someone like me? Someone who has nowhere to go but hell. Would he forgive me out of sympathy? No way. While he'll be surprised, he'll do his job and arrest me. I am a member of the SDF, after all, so what I'm doing is committing treason. I've been thinking about him a lot for the past few days, and just now, I realized something. He is not attractive at all as a man. He has no sense of humor or good taste. He has nothing, absolutely nothing. Damn, Jesus, man. Well, he has a belly, but there's nothing appealing about him. He doesn't care about my schedule. He's persistent, and when I treat him nicely because I'm in a good mood, he becomes even more persistent. There really is absolutely nothing good about him. Despite his age, he tells me things like how the last time he held a woman's hand was when he did folk dancing at some summer camp. Furthermore, he says those things to make me laugh. He's hopeless. But more than anything, I can't stand when he completely ignores my feelings. I want to be alone sometimes. I don't want to do anything sometimes. Yet he drags me out, completely ignoring how I feel. That's why, even when I'm exhausted or I don't feel like doing anything, I end up going with him, which makes me laugh. I just thought that just wore me out. Yet, I want him to drag me around. I'll probably never feel this way again, and yet, he's not here. Do I really believe I don't want to spend time with him? Maybe I've just grown used to his abundant affection. When he took me out on a day, I didn't want to do anything. I was in a bad mood at first. But after a while, I started to feel better. I found myself having a lot of fun. If he was with me now, would he take me out to photograph birds like always? Would he happily explain it all with his know-how, even though I didn't ask? That'd be very boring and troublesome. That's what I honestly want right now. Do I see my grandpa in him? I loved my grandpa. He gave me a purpose to live. I needed him. I loved Uncle Koizumi. He helped me with my dream. I needed him. After both of them died, maybe I just sought their aspects in him. Am I starving for a protector? Maybe I'm so traumatized by my parents' accident that I need to have someone nearby to watch over me all the time. Maybe I'm still immature. My inner child is throwing a fit because she can't put together a toy, saying that if it's going to be broken anyway, she's going to break it herself. You won't be just my problem. You'll bring about huge, irreversible tragedy. But that's the only way to prove the truth of my grandfather's work. That belief allowed me to prepare up to this point. In just a few days, the top members of the government will be scrutinizing my grandfather's article. And terrified by the worst case scenario he predicted, they'll regret canceling our research and neglecting countermeasures as they pass their final resolution. That's when my grandfather's article will become truth, his great work uplifted, and his name carved into the pages of history. Okay, so, remember when I said that I was thinking maybe Takano is just committing, suicide / destroying the research, knowing that it will end anyway, in similar fashion to how Hifumi killed himself because he didn't want to go through that slow death of dementia. It feels very conflicting. And then he'll become a god. A part of Takano is indeed thinking that this will be a success, an eternal existence, and I will reveal the god worshipped as Oyashiro-sama to be the Hinamizawa syndrome, casting them down to earth. I guess thinking about it, feels like kind of a stupid idea now that I'm thinking about it. There is a connection there, that's for sure. But on one hand, you have Takano who truly believes that this will be a success and they'll become gods, quote unquote. Or she wants to end it all. I'm going to complete the 5th curse of Oyashiro-sama with Jiro-san's death, as well as my own. I'll become the one who curses, not the one who is cursed. I'll be in the position to test, instead of being tested. I will ascend to godhood. I'm going to make the curse a reality, and I'm going to kick the god of this place off our throne. And then grandfather and I will be together forever. Gods don't get tested. Fate doesn't test gods. No grief will separate us. I'll be with my grandpa forever. After that, we're going to work on our research together in that study, filled with the smell of formalin. A scene from happier days. Grandpa is at his desk, writing down something. I'm in a good mood, lying on my stomach on the carpet right behind him, while flapping my legs and humming a tune. I helped him with his research by organizing his books as if I were playing with blocks. To return to those times is my only wish. Of course, if I could go back that far, I'd want my parents to be alive too. If I could play with my grandpa's books, while listening to my mother cooking in the kitchen, my father flipping through his newspaper, that would complete my happy world. It would be my ideal childhood. But that world doesn't have a door to the outside world. So I can't go over to my friend's house. Because if I did go to my friend's house, there won't be anybody there when I returned. Nobody. Nobody. Because they'd all have died in a train accident. So I don't want an outside world. I want to stay in my house by my parents and my grandfather. I am a doctor after all. I can't analyze myself. I know that what I'm wishing for is proof of my immaturity. But if I know that much, then why do I still long for a parental figure in Jiro-san? Even as I plan on an operation which includes his death, I'm still trying to hang on to him. If I'm going to betray people so I can become a god, then I should remain a villain until my final moments. If I rather be a lonely little girl, then I should remain modest and humble until my final moments. Either way, if it is my way of life, nobody can criticize me for it. Because if I believe it is right, then all I can do is go on without listening to such criticism. But I still can't decide, so I want somebody to criticize me. Nobody has ever criticized my way of life. That's why I want to hear someone do it. I want someone to tell me my way of life is wrong. I want Jiro-san to tell me I've done such a stupid thing, and I want him to slap me. Such masochistic desires speak a great deal as to how I'm rejecting my present self. Am I really still longing for a parent? I'm too old to call myself immature. Even if I do, nobody else will. No matter how immature I am inside, people will treat me as a grown person. They will say I possess an adult's responsibility and proper judgment, and that they brought me this far already. Then I'll be judged before the devil. Will I still plead not to judge my immature self as a grown-up? Am I going to act that pathetically even in front of the devil? I'm already going to hell, yet I can't completely become a devil. I hate the idea of hell, yet I refuse to try and repent. My mind can only float in a lake of blood, drifting as I drown. If only Jiro-san was here, my mind would clear up as I play along with his insensitive chatter. Why isn't he around when I need him the most? This is the last chance I'll have to spend time with him. I hate how immature I am, becoming so insecure just because he isn't around. I found myself before the offertory box. I came here when the Ariakey clinic's construction had ended, and the research at the Institute was about to begin. I remember how bravely they challenged the god of this place. I was full of hope and ambition. After going through many hardships, I finally came this far. I even vowed I would become a god. I did so in front of the god of this place. I can vaguely recall my grandfather telling me a story similar to that. That's right. It was a story of the Tower of Babel. There was only one language in this world. All people lived in one place with one will. In a display of their authority, they started to build a tower that would reach heaven. God got angry because these people had forgotten how to show respect to him. He believed all of men gathered to commit such an affront because they all shared one language and one will. So their communion was shattered. People were thrown into disorder, and they were given many different languages so they wouldn't be able to communicate with each other. And as they couldn't communicate with each other, many left, and the tower which challenged heaven fell to ruin. Something like that anyway. I'm not sure what the lesson is, but this is what my grandfather explained to me. Building a tower that reaches up to heaven is the greatest challenge for humans, but it is also a challenge to God. to challenge God was truly sinful. But as humans, we couldn't help but test that untrodden peak. It's not easy to build a tower that's high enough to reach heaven. While they're building the tower, the people will fall into disharmony and lose the mutual understanding they once started with. Their united wills thrown into disarray. It does sound similar to your story, Takano. As you're trying to create your own building to God, you are basically throwing away everything that you've created up until this point, the connections that you have made, that, in all honesty, you are taken for granted. I only went through like 8 chapters of this story. 8 main fragments, plus some of the tiny stuff that happened while connecting like all 50 fragments and all that. I don't know you, that's for sure. But Rika surely does. The children know you for sure. Irie and Tomitake, they care for you. You've created some connections here, that's for sure. And this applies not just to a group of people, but can be said about one person as well. No matter how solid their will, the closer they come to heaven, the more limits God imposes on man. So even iron wills are sure to waver at some point. It is just too arrogant for humans to think that they can always carry out their original intentions. That must have been what my grandfather was thinking, deep down. I'm sure he lost hope many times, since nobody ever recognized the value of his research. Yet, he believed in himself. He believed that someday, his work would be appreciated. Maybe that was his wish, rather than reaching heaven. Grandfather realized he wouldn't be able to complete his research, and maybe he was trying to find where he could compromise. Humans can't build a tower that reaches heaven, but the story of the Tower of Babel is still around. It didn't reach heaven, but we still tell the story of the tower that challenged God. According to the story, the tower was left behind with nobody to work on it. The incomplete tower stayed in that place for a long time, never achieving its goal. But if someone were to see it, they would realize how great it was that someone accepted that challenge and praised their name. I took over the tower from my grandfather and tried to make it reach heaven, but I ended up succumbing to the same fate. And if it is going to be destroyed anyway, I'll try to destroy it myself. What am I doing anyway? Yeah, see, this is what makes me think anyway, like, the whole idea of destroying the research herself. Maybe it is intentional. Maybe it is intentional that Takano is thinking between, like, the research achieving some success and the research that she herself is going to destroy by destroying it all. Like, it's conflicting. If I hadn't tried to continue grandfather's research, his work on Hinamizawa syndrome would have remained forever. Even if it was an empty tower that nobody ever visited, if somebody did come by, they would praise whoever attempted that challenge. They would have praised my grandfather. But I took over his work, and I built the tower even closer to heaven, which made God angry, and the tower is now going to be destroyed. The tower will become a pile of rubble. When the Irie Institute is shut down, all of its records will be destroyed. When my grandfather's wish for his work to be appreciated by someone will never be granted. I tried to make my grandfather an eternal existence, yet I ended up making that an impossibility. How can I call myself Mio Takano. Instead of inheriting the 1, 2, 3 from my grandfather and continuing the count to 3, 4, I reduced it all to 0. If it wasn't for me, my grandfather's work would have remained an empty tower. He would have stayed in this world forever. But I ruined it. I did that. And I can feel myself sweating. The sweat reminds me that I've done something inexorable. When did I make a mistake? Where did I go wrong? It wasn't when I came here. It was before that. I started to walk down the wrong path long before that. If I put myself in my grandfather's spot, I know. My grandfather was working on a great challenge. He built a mighty tower, and he was supposed to continue to stand there and wait for someone to appreciate it. Grandfather definitely said he wanted his work to be valued by someone, even after his death. But I misunderstood. Somewhere along the way, I made a wrong turn. I misinterpreted grandfather's wish, and I ruined it. I ruined everything. I tried to make him an eternal existence, yet I destroyed him. Grandfather built an eternal tower, yet I raised it. Where did I make a mistake? What went wrong? It's obvious. My grandfather counted to 3, and with that, it was complete. I simply tried to do more with addition, and everything collapsed. And now all of it is ruined. I shouldn't have tried to count to 4. I shouldn't have done anything. Besides, grandfather didn't even ask me to continue his research. A little girl shouldn't play in this dark study. Go outside and play with your friends. I remembered my grandfather telling me things like that. But I refused, and I stayed in the study so I could help him. And eventually, he stopped telling me to play outside, and just enjoyed having my company while he worked. But when we first met, he used to say things like that. Then, what? Living with grandfather, what was the first mistake I made? I guess you could say the mistake that you have done is to not listen to your grandpa. I feel like Hifumi did not want you to go on this kind of path of researching. He simply wanted you to live your life like any other girl. Make friends, have love, study, have a nice career and all that, a simple human life. 'Cause it is something that I said myself before, that maybe a part of Hifumi have felt very, very sorry that he has done all this research, and yet at the same time he has alienated himself from his family, and he felt regret even in his last moments of his life. And he more than likely didn't want Takano to go through the same thing. Well, similar thing. He didn't want Takano to be tied to one thing. Especially to be tied to his research in this obsessive way, in similar fashion to him. Maybe that was a mistake. Then, when I escaped the orphanage, I shouldn't have called grandpa. No, that's not it. I shouldn't have found a 10-yen coin. I shouldn't have asked grandpa to help me. Ah, now I remember. I know where I belong. A noise of something metal striking something else is getting closer. It's getting closer and closer. I'm not allowed to fall asleep. I wasn't asleep. I just had my eyes closed, that's all. Oh boy. She's having a mental breakdown, that's for sure right now. can't hold my breath any longer. I drown in an ocean of muck. In it, as I'm taking on the muck, my heart desperately struggles not to be tainted by it, to rise above it until my heart too sinks into a sea of grime. Only creatures that have lived on land will gasp and suffer the pain of drowning as they long to return to dry land. Creatures that have always lived in the ocean never drown. Grandpa won't come help me. That is the best thing for me and him both. See, when I stop struggling, there is no more noise. I don't have to hear that scary metal noise. Is it a roar or a yell? I needed to borrow strength to scream in order to come back to the present world. My body is all sweaty. It feels dirty, itchy, and painful. It reminds me of that day. I can feel welts coming on as the sweat crawls down my skin. No, it's just a delusion. It can't be itchy, because all that is long over. I take a bath every day. I scrub my body until it turns raw and red. So not even the slightest drop of that horrible filth could possibly remain. I can't help it. I remember the filth. I can only get rid of it by scratching my arm so hard it leaves marks. I can't get rid of the itching. I can't get rid of the filth. Of course I can't. I'm a filthy existence. Grandpa should never have saved someone like me. Meeting me made him unhappy. I shouldn't have existed. I shouldn't have been born. I should have stayed inside that metal fence and spent my whole life there. I need to go back inside it. I should have never left. That place is where I belong. Corner me with that horrible metal noise. Crush me with that filth, itchiness and pain. And then kill me, so that I'll never meet Grandpa. Is that your wish? Yes, much like those left behind at the top of Babel's crumbling tower, or Icarus, unable to reach heaven only to fall. That is my final wish. Bring me back inside that metal fence, and give me back the fate that's suitable for my filthy existence. The wish of a liar will never come true. But I'm not a liar. You have spoken your true wish once, yet you have yet to realize that's your greatest wish. And I cannot grant that wish just yet. Are you saying that's the punishment we sinful humans face for challenging God? You should already know. The strength of your desire is what creates the future. You lack that strength. Are you saying I haven't tainted myself enough? Will even the gates of hell remain shut for someone not fully committed like me? Like, okay, that kind of dialogue at the end, it feels like Takano is talking to a specific someone inside of her. Like, if I'm to think of Umineko and all that, it makes me think of a particular witch. Which is still crazy, you know, thinking about it, because, like, the Witch of Certainty herself is tied to Takano. It's quite interesting. Rika-chan.
容体はいかがですか？私です。入江です。
As Akasaka warned me, I have to be very careful. Akasaka-san opened the door softly.
お疲れ様です。外は賑やかですね。
明日のお祭りの準備で大にぎわいです。これは模擬店部会さんからお見舞いにと持たされたかき氷です。せっかくなのでいただきましょう。
Yeah, might as well.
これはありがたい。いただきましょう。
Akasaka-san is wearing a t-shirt, but he is still drenched in sweat. All the windows have been shut, and he can't even open the curtains, so it's very hot inside. But even accounting for that, he is still sweating like mad.
すごい汗ですね。確かにこの暑さでは無理もありません。
いえ、トレーニングを少ししていただけです。
Of course.
ドタバタするわけにはいきませんので、もちろん気をつけながらですが、有事があるなしにかかわらず、体は常に臨戦態勢にしておかなければ。
Like, imagine the mountain dogs are probably, like, observing the house, and one of the mountain dogs is even coming close to, like, here, like around the door and such, and they hear, like, grunts, like, manly grunts coming from inside. And the conclusion that the mountain dog is reaching is that, my god, Rika sure is training her body like crazy. She sounds very manly and strong. That's how Rika sounds like when she trains.
適度な運動は気分転換にもいいですからね。このようなところでずっと緊張を強いられていては、精神的にも参ってしまうでしょうに。
いえ、慣れてますから。でも、先生の差し入れはとても助かります。
Akasaka-san smiled like a happy child as he ate the strawberry-flavored shaved ice. And look at them, bonding
何か
together.
動きはありますか?
Like, you are thinking, okay, you have Akasaka on one side who is, like, doing this for Rika and is doing it in the name of justice and all that, and he is part of the police, of course. Like, you would think that there would be a little bit of friction going on between them, since A.k.a. is was working on this kind of stuff that is also responsible for what is gonna happen, but they are being friends, of course.
富武さんから連絡は?
いえ、まだ何も動きはありません。あ、高野さんが富武さんと連絡がつかないと言っていました。
Unknowingly, of course, when it comes to A.k.a. unknowingly.
身の安全のために宿を変えているはずでしたね。勘づかれたのでしょうか?
いえ、そういう不信感を持ってはいないようです。私も写真撮影に飛び回っているのではないかとフォローしています。
怪しまれるのも時間の問題ですね。風向きはどちらにせよ、近いうちに強い風が吹きそうです。
Yeah, well, fortunately for us, she hasn't noticed yet, but unfortunately for her, the reason why she hasn't noticed yet is that she is in that breakdown kind of mood right now, so she cannot think straight, unfortunately.
入江先生、くれぐれもご用心を。
ええ、もちろんですよ。ああ、そうだ。先ほど大石さんにお会いしまして、こんな話が進んでいるので伝えてほしいと頼まれました。
I explained the 48 operation to Akasaka-san. Akasaka-san seemed impressed with the notion, especially because I told him it came from the girls.
うまい手ですね。連中に相当の揺さぶりをかけられるでしょう。そのうろたえぶりから富武さんが敵の尻尾をつかめる可能性は十分にあると思います。で、その作戦の指導は？
それは今夜大石さんと皆さんが打ち合わせして決めるようですが。
Tonight.
やはり時間はかけられないということで、早ければ明日の早朝には決行するそうです。
そうですね。長い時間臨戦態勢でいるのはかなりの消耗を強いられます。打てる手があるなら早いうちの方がいい。
赤坂さんがひなみ沢に滞在できる 休暇の限界もありますしね。いつまでなんですか？
家内には一応日曜日の深夜には帰ると言いましたが、事情が変わればやむを得ません。幸恵も刑事の妻です。分かってくれると思います。
ここでは奥さんに電話をすることもできませんね。
Nope, not at all.
それは辛い役を押し付けてしまったものです。
大丈夫です。新婚時代じゃあるまいし、毎晩電話しなきゃ見下り班ってわけじゃありません。
Although he says that, it's easy to tell that Akasaka wants to hear the sound of her voice. Oh.
赤坂さんの方では何か変化はありましたか？
I mean, her voice and the baby, right? Because... Okay, so the end of chapter 4 was like 1985. Yeah, they definitely have the baby till right now. He probably wants to hear her voice too, like her little baby daughter.
何か必要なものがあれば持ってきますので。
必要なものは特にありません。変化は難しいところです。何しろ祭りの準備でこれだけの出入りがありますからね。その中に不審な気配が混じり込んでいてもとても私には分かりません。むしろ逆にこの人混みの中にここを監視する敵も混じり込んでいると思って警戒するくらいがちょうどいいでしょう。
そうですね。そうそう、山犬ですが、やはり赤坂さんがおっしゃったように動き出しているようです。お好みさんに予定を聞いたところ、5年目のたたりに便乗した愉快犯がリカちゃんを狙う可能性を考慮して祭りの前後に警護体制のレベルを上げたというのです。
Lucky for them that they can use that kind of excuse to heighten their security.
うん。現在の状況と一致しますね。まるで明日の祭りに合わせて表も裏も全ての準備が同時に進んでいる気がします。
And once again, this is a little bit of bad timing because the operation will happen, like if Oishi agrees to this, the operation will begin during the festival, which would mean that people in the village are gonna find out about the quote-unquote Rika's death, like after the festival, which would make them think that it's the 50 years curse. That's gonna be a little bit unfortunate.
明日はいろいろな意味で祭りになるとおっしゃるわけですね。
If the 48-hour operation gets underway tomorrow morning, it will be quite the turbulent day. Yes, everything will change starting tomorrow. June 19th, 1983. A tempestuous day that divides a peaceful world from a tragic one. The fate of the world will change on that day. I finished my secret meeting with Akasaka-san and left while calling up to the second floor window, pretending to address the girls. When some villagers saw me do that, they asked how they were doing. They asked me about both girls, which made me very happy. I don't like it when Irie interacts with the villagers, which will make the villagers think that the girls are still, like, you know, alive and all that, because we need the operation to go smoothly. What Oryo-san said yesterday has already spread among the villagers. In other words, the curse of Ayashiro-san may have already lifted, even before tomorrow's festival. If nothing happens tomorrow, then this village is finally free from the curse and the ghost of the damn conflict. As we prepare for the upcoming battle, I realize the extent of the responsibility we've taken on. But at the same time, that gives me strength. Oh, after greeting officials under the main tent, I ran into Takano-san as I headed back to the clinic. It's unusual for her to be here alone. If Tomitake-san was with her, I could understand. but she'd never come here by herself. For a moment, I thought maybe she suspected a connection between me and Akasaka-san. But it doesn't seem that way. I am relieved.
珍しいですね。こんなところでどうされたのですか？
いいえ、別に。ちょっとした気まぐれの散歩ですわ。
そうですか。今日は気持ちいい風が吹きますからね。散歩も気持ちがいいと思いますよ。
二郎さんもそんな風に誘われて一人で散歩に行っているのかしら。
Those words had a strange nuance to them. Takana-san normally only spends time with Tomitake-san out of politeness. At least, that's how she'd been acting. So when I heard her say that, I was a little surprised.
そうかもしれません。彼は東京の人ですからね。Hinamizawaの自然や空気はとても貴重なものだとわかるのでしょう。
Tokyo the city.
所長、二郎さん、どこに行かれてるかご存知ありません？
いえ、存じませんが。はて。
昨べの会合にも欠席してますわね。他のスタッフが進行してくれたからいいですけど、本来なら二郎さんの役目じゃないんですかしら。職務怠慢でしてよ。
This is going in the wrong direction. I have to change the subject.
まあ、彼もたまには羽を伸ばしたいと思うこともあるんじゃないでしょうか。彼にもあるんですよ。一人になりたい時が。あなたと同じにね。
そうですわね。私ったら。
Except for the fact that it's obvious that she didn't want to be alone. I think that went well. She didn't ask about Tomitake-san after that. When I look around, I can imagine how lavish the festival is going to be tomorrow. Watanagashi is the biggest festival of the year around here. It's growing in scale ever since the Italian conflict ended, and this year, the village festival is hitting a peak. Peak! I'm sure villagers of all ages will enjoy themselves tomorrow. Takano-san and I overlooked that heartwarming scene.
明日は楽しいお祭りになるでしょうね。
ええ、楽しい祭りになりますわね。
The conversation was very ironic. We both meant something different as we spoke.
祭りの幕開けが楽しみですね。
ええ、楽しい祭りの幕開けですわ。
I noticed an indescribably bitter smile on her face.
明日は晴れるといいですね。せっかくここまで準備して、雨で中止なんて気の毒です。
ここまで大々的に準備した盛大なお祭りですもの。雨天ごときで中止になるわけありませんわ。
そうですね。明日はどんな天気になろうとも必ず祭りになりますね。
ええ、盛大なお祭りになりますわよ。きっと。
Oh boy. Oishi-san had agreed to participate. In other words, he had given us the green light. Alrighty then.
やるね。さぞや話をまとめるのは難しかったでしょう。
いや、それがね、私が呆れるくらいあっさり皆さん船に乗ってくれちゃいまして。いや、若さっていいなあ。私一人だけがうじうじとみっともないったらありゃしないです。もう後には引けません。この大石クラウド、切るならど真ん中、最後まで突っ張りますよ。
Oishi-san was always a man with great presence. He seems pretty reliable when he's that determined. And this will work. This operation will be a success. The enemy is unthinkably strong, but we're going on the offensive first. It's like in sumo, right? No matter how huge your opponent may be, there's a chance the entire match can be settled in an instant with a quick shift in stance during the opening rush.
味方が多いというのはこんなにも心強いことなのです。
もうあんたに口を挟む気はないわ。ほんの数日前まで私は運命に屈しかけていたというのに、それから数日を経ただけでここまで変わるなんて。これは本当に運命をひっくり返せるかもしれない。
リカ、そんな弱い気持ちではダメなのです。
そうね、ひっくり返せるかもじゃない、ひっくり返す、勝つ。私たちは運命を打ち破る。
となれば次に重要なのはトラップのタイミングですわね。
タイミングも何もねえだろ。即時発動だろ。今夜にはリカちゃんが姿を消してから48時間が成立する。待てば待つほど相手を利するんだから、すぐに仕掛けるべきだと思うぜ。
そうだね。
Okay, so tonight it will have been 48 hours since Rika-chan disappeared. Since we agreed on this, tonight will be like the 48-hour mark. Again, like I'm very stressed with the idiot talking to the villagers like this entire time. I mean, the best option at this point is if we are deciding on the 48 hours to be like tonight instead of tomorrow or the day after the festival, that would mean that, yeah, like the only option would be for people to find out that the idiot was lying, and for him to like say that I actually lied. Like I'm worried about that particular detail the most.
慎重さは今回に限り相手を利するだけというのは同感。守りは慎重であるべきだけど、攻めは大胆であるべきだと思う。ケンイチとレナの太鼓判がもらえればとても心強いのです。どうですかみんな。
私は依存ないわ。もう覚悟は決まってる。いつだって OK よ。
木はすでに熟してる。どう見るサトコ。急ぐのはもちろんですけど、今すぐというのは早すぎますわ。相手の隙をつくならもう少し冷静に引き金を絞るべきでございましてよ。
奇襲なら夜だろ。今を除いて最高のタイミングがあるのかよ。
まあ落ち着きな。サトコの言うのも一理あるし、ケイちゃん奇襲の定番は夜襲。でもね、今の私たちを見てごらん。ほら、こうして深夜でも血気盛んでしょ。夜襲が効果的だったのは電気がなかった時代の話だよ。近代戦では深夜は奇襲になり得ない。もっと最適な時間帯がある。奇襲により適した時間帯があるのですか？はわわ
わかったわ。幼稚の反対。朝がけね。
During the day? Well, it is true. I mean, it is difficult for them to do like a full-sized operation during the day in the eyes of the public.
ほほう、難しい言葉をご存知ですね。確かに人間、どの時間に一番電話がもらいたくないかと言ったら、深夜よりは明け方です。何しろ寝ぼけているところでは正常な判断ができませんからね。
夜明け前の奇襲。いいタイミングだと思う。私もそれが一番効果的だと思う。高野さんの性格から考えて、5年目のたたりを装う形で何かのアクションを起こす可能性は極めて大だと思う。なら今夜はそれの前夜に当たる。前夜ほど流行る心を抑え、十分な睡眠をとろうと思うのが人というものなのです。見えてきましたわね、最高のトラップタイミングが。
夜明けの奇襲か。くぅ、なんだよそれ。男として生まれたからには一度はやってみたいシチュエーション。燃えてきた。
前原さんもうちの連中と同じですね。おや？ということは、男で燃え上がっていないのは私だけってことですかね。やれやれ。よーし！ならいいですね。明日の早朝に48時間作戦を発動します。
Alright, well, you're not wrong. You're not entirely wrong on that one, Oishi, in the sense that, well, I'm not gonna lie when I say that for quite a while right now, I haven't been in my highest peak of energy myself, like spiritually. That is kind of difficult for me to get psyched about a lot of stuff these days, but alright, let's go! Come on!
これで敵がどう動くかです。
Like, for Pete's sake, I have been going for Higurashi for like 3 years at this point. This is it. We're gonna be doing this. Come on!
相手を撹乱し、その出方に合わせて攻撃する。
I'm finally gonna be getting my true ending right over here soon enough.
これは遊撃作戦ですよ。
よーし。部長、園崎美音の名において48時間作戦の発動を命ず。決行は明朝4時。一気に慌ただしくなる可能性が高い。総員は何があっても即応できるよう心身のコンディションを最高で保つこと。そして忘れるな、ひなみざわの後輩はこの一戦にあり。敵の陰謀を許せば村が滅ぶかもしれないんだよ。
けんなこと、我が部の目が黒いうちには許すかってんだ。
さあ、相手がどう出るか。鬼が出るか、大蛇が出るか。
みー、にゃーにゃーが出てくるかもなのです。あははは。そうだったら可愛いですわね。それはないです。絶対に大きな動きが起こります。例えるなら、これは微震。大きな津波が押し寄せる前の予兆のよう。そうだね。レナもその微震を感じてるよ。さあ、その津波を起こしてやろう。
As long as we're not thinking of it as like the eruption of a volcano or anything like that. Besides that, like any analogy would be good. Like a tsunami, yeah.
飲み込まれるのは村か連中か。
俺たちはその波で波乗りとしゃれ込んでやるぜ。
This 48-hour operation will be a shock to the enemy. They'll panic. Their pace will be off, and they're guaranteed to slip up somehow. We don't know how they're going to slip up, but just knowing that they will, and preparing ourselves to act gives us the full advantage. We're surrounding our enemies on this huge game board that is Hinamizawa. Game board. This game, this festival, will start with our siege. Come on, we're ready. We're ready for June 19th, 1983. Alrighty then. Hey, Rika. Have this many emotions ever gathered on this day? Actually, there were always this many emotions in this world. There were always countless numbers of them gathered on this forgotten June 19th. We just never realized it, because we always looked at the world subjectively. There are so many people in this world, and each of them has very important emotions. Those countless feelings are collecting together and giving shape to this world, this fragment. Ah, with this many emotions, what kind of world will we see? What kind of fragment will we be granted? Who will win, Takano or us? Us, obviously. The time to find out is now. Let's open it. Let's open the door to June 19th of 1983. Alright. Actually, a little bit surprised because I was thinking that the operation is actually gonna start like after Watanagashi, but no, we're starting it right now. The door to the 19th. Cool. You know, some of you may have seen my adventure with Ghost Trick and all that. Probably not a whole lot of you. But by the end of that story, oh boy, like the climax was surely something. I want that feeling again. I want that feeling of us getting like so close and yet, oh, there's always some twist that can happen like in any second that makes me go, whoa, oh god, and surprise me. And we keep switching like from good news to bad news to good news to bad news and all that. I want that feeling again. It was past midnight and almost dawn. In the very quiet time of the night where staying up late and getting up early melted together. That exact thing was happening in the offices of the Tokonagi gardeners. Okay, well, first and foremost, what I'm worried about is, again, the fact that Irie was talking to the villagers, like, about Rikan Satoko's status and all that. But second and most importantly, like, I hope that Tomitake is alright, because, yeah, he has been investigating and all that, but we haven't really gotten, like, any, like, news of his, like, him fighting something, or him being alive in the first place, because one could make you think, like, one would think, oh god, he's dead, isn't he? Let's hope not. Because that's one of the things that we have to, like, break. Like, rule Y. Not just finding out that Takano is actually alive, but we gotta keep Tomitake alive, too. And there were only 2 people on guard duty, and they were playing cards. They weren't sentries, so they really didn't need to be on guard all the time. However, they weren't allowed to fall asleep either. After the TV broadcast went off the air a little past midnight, they usually ended up playing cards. Suddenly, the phone rang. The phone was right nearby, so one of them answered immediately.
毎度おこのぎ造園でございます。
Okonogi gardeners.
はい。
Suddenly, the man taking the call stood up with a jolt. He even hit his knee against the desk, but he was too panicked to care. Takano dashed into the underground security room in a hurry. Oh god, we are really we are already starting with quite a bang right over here.
お休みのところ申し訳ございません。さんさん。
コーヒーは後よ。状況を。本当なの？
はい。午前4時15分。沖宮署内で身元不明死体が R であるということが確認されたという情報が入りました。
Jesus Christ.
そんなわけないでしょ。だって R は風邪で寝込んでいるんでしょ。それはあんたたちが監視してたんでしょ。
そのさんさ、話に続きがありまして、沖宮署の諜報員によると死後48時間が経過しているとか。